Most notably, this weekend marked the passage of the legislative coup that was Trump's big tax and spending bill. Now, I'm going to let you know, there were some cuts.
And so, President Trump's major bill just passed, and predictably the Democrats went into full meltdown. From the opening line to the final period, they mocked every part of it. But buried beneath all that outrage is a hypocrisy so glaring, even...
Seriously, tell me you didn't just brag about changing nothing about the bill but its name.
This is not a big, beautiful bill at all. That is why I moved on the floor to strike the title. It is now called The Act.
2. And in classic Stewart fashion, he tore into them. It was relentless. I've got all the sharpest moments lined up. So, hit that subscribe button.
Another way we can talk about this bill is Democratic fecklessness. They were utterly powerless to stop this turd of a bill, which makes them look terrible. The only thing that could make Democrats look even worse was bragging about the nothing they could do.
So, the Democratic Party proved once again to be all bark and no bite. Just a loud, angry chorus with no real follow-through. They had no power to stop the bill, but if you listen to their pre-vote outrage, you'd think they were an unstoppable political force. They threatened lawsuits, vowed walkouts, and flooded cable news with promises of resistance. They postured, they shouted, and they gave their followers false hope. But when it came time to act, silence. The bill passed without a single serious obstacle. And here's the truly baffling part. They didn't just fail, they acted like it was a win. These political arsonists lit a blaze of outrage, then stood back and admired it like spectators in a luxury suite. They bragged about their inaction like it was brilliant strategy, when in reality it was just hesitation dressed up as principle. If this is the hill they've chosen, they might want to bring a pillow, because the
Boomer tweeted this, news! I just got the name struck off this bill with a move on the Senate floor. Oh shit, no you didn't!
And that's exactly the point I drove home in the first few minutes of this video. If you listened to the Democrats before the bill passed, you'd think the DNC was gearing up for a full-scale legislative war. Tanks, helicopters, the works. They puffed their chests, made bold declarations, and acted like they had a secret weapon ready to go. Spoiler alert, they didn't. And then there's Chuck Schumer, good old Chuck, who proudly announced he'd moved to change the name of the bill. Not the content, not the funding, not even a single line, just the name. Bravo, Chuck, that'll show them. Because clearly the American people are most concerned with branding, not actual policy. If you hated the bill so much, why not use your platform to fight for real change that could help your constituents? Oh, right, because playing word games is easier than doing the hard work.
Seriously, tell me you didn't just brag about changing nothing about the bill but its name.
This is not a big, beautiful bill at all. That is why I moved on the floor to strike the title. It is now called The Act.
5. Are we surprised? Of course not. This is the DNC's trademark. Plenty of smoke, no fire. Just empty theatrics dressed up as political action. They've mastered the art of performative outrage, the high priests of hollow symbolism. These are the people who talk like revolutionaries but legislate like interns. They'll shout from rooftops, demand change, and then pose for a photo op while doing absolutely nothing. They'd rather tweet than lead, hashtag than legislate. No wonder their last presidential hopeful became the undisputed queen of word salads. Every sentence a riddle, every answer a maze, every speech a masterclass in saying nothing with flair. When real decisions need to be made, they vanish like smoke in the wind, leaving only buzzwords and bravado behind. The truth? They're allergic to action, addicted to applause, and terrified of accountability. And the American people are starting...
Are you trying to suck? Is that what this is? That's your move. We worked hard and took out the dumb name of the bill and named the bill after a prestige drama on Hulu.
Stewart didn't hold back. He kept calling out the Democrats for being spineless, soft, and embarrassingly easy to manipulate. And honestly, who can blame him? That's what years of non-stop pandering do to a party. It drains the fight out of you. It strips away backbone, grit, and whatever political courage you once had. Instead of standing firm, they fold like cheap lawn chairs at the first sign of backlash. But here's the real problem. It's not just internal damage. They're actively trying to spread that same approval-hungry, virtue-signaling mindset across the entire country. Pander to everyone. Stand for nothing. That's the unspoken motto now, and they're proud of it. The echo chamber cheers, the crowd claps, and meanwhile, America grows more hollow by the hour. They want a nation that apologizes before it speaks, boos before it thinks, and mistakes weakness for compassion. Stewart saw through it, called it out, and
At least Democrats still have Hakeem Jeffries over in the House. He's a younger leader. And he decided not to answer with words, but with imagery.
Hakeem Jeffries on Instagram. He's got a baseball bat and he says House Democrats will keep the pressure on Trump's one big ugly bill.
one thing the Democrats have mastered, credit where it's due, is using imagery to send a message. They know how to stage a photo, craft a scene, and make it go viral. But this latest one? It's a head-scratcher. There's Jeff posing with a baseball bat, like he's either stepping up to the plate or about to send a warning shot. What exactly are we supposed to take from that? Is it some kind of veiled threat? A symbolic warning? Does he mean he's ready to enforce the bill if the GOP steps out of line? Because if that's the case, yikes. Not a great look for someone preaching democracy and decency. It feels like either an awkward attempt at macho theater or a wildly miscalculated stunt that misses the mark entirely. For a party that constantly warns about dangerous rhetoric, they sure don't mind playing with fire when it fits their message. What are we missing here? Because to me, it looks confused, aggressive.
Hakeem Jeffries answered with imagery. Imagery that sends a clear message to Republicans that Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats are waiting for their moms to pick them up from T-ball.
Even Jon Stewart looked baffled by whatever message Hakeem Jeffries was trying to send. A baseball bat? Really? Are we supposed to see that as a threat, a metaphor, or a campaign prop from a mob-themed fundraiser? No one knows, and that's the problem. But what really got under Stewart's skin wasn't just the confusing imagery. It was the Democrats' glaring inability to take a stand against the bill. Not because the bill was some extreme piece of legislation, but because they simply lacked the spine to fight for anything at all. Stewart wasn't asking them to blow things up, just to show some guts, plant a flag, and say, "This is what we believe in." Instead, they flinched. They blinked. They let it pass without resistance, then scrambled to save face with symbolic gestures and tone-deaf optics. This isn't about being right or wrong. It's about having the courage to be something. Right now, the Democratic Party looks like
Not have made the team, but they're ready to step in if a body is needed. Does anybody understand that intimidating, menacing photos are generally taken from below to make the subject appear larger, not from above to make the subject appear, I don't know, 8 years old?
Stewart doesn't let up. He keeps roasting Jeffries' attempt at looking tough, because let's be honest, it completely fell flat. Instead of coming off as bold or commanding, which you'd expect from someone trying to pressure Republicans into submission, he looked more like a nervous preteen waiting outside for his mom's minivan. It was political cosplay gone wrong, even in the one area where Democrats used to shine, optics, branding, media control. They're slipping. Their once unmatched flair for shaping perception is fading fast. They can't even stage a convincing photo op anymore. Instead of projecting strength, resolve, and leadership, we're getting imagery that screams hesitation, weakness, and confusion. It's like they tried to channel Churchill and ended up somewhere between Harry Potter and a substitute teacher. When your bold stand against the GOP looks more like a high school yearbook photo than a moment of political defiance, you've lost the thread.
The photo has to be intimidating. Make sure you get the upholstery in my leather love seat. They gotta know I have furniture.
At this point, the Democratic Party feels less like a political force and more like a Broadway production. Bright lights, dramatic speeches, but no real plot. They talk like revolutionaries, dress like they're headed into battle, but act like interns lost in a policy binder. From Chuck Schumer's laughable attempt to rename a bill instead of challenging its content, to Hakeem Jeffries' failed intimidation, pose that looked more like a schoolboy waiting for a ride, the incompetence is both staggering and hilarious. Even their strongest skill, performance politics, is falling apart. The image of power they once carefully crafted has crumbled into awkward press conferences, tone-deaf stunts, and a glaring lack of leadership. And when Jon Stewart, once their unofficial comedic shield, starts tearing into their hypocrisy, you know the dam is breaking. While Republicans are out passing legislation, Democrats are busy staging photo ops and hashtag campaigns. No wonder the American people are tuning them out. If this is what resistance looks like, it's running on fumes. So buckle up, we've got the footage, the fire, and the facts. Hit that like button and subscribe, because exposing this political theater is just getting started. Drop a comment with the clip you found most revealing, and don't forget to share with your like-minded circles.